Sorry for the big black bars on either side. I unfortunately can't really record in the way that I normally would. That's one issue of this phone. But other than that, it's been about 3 weeks thus far, and I remembered that I actually forgot to upload the day one review and unboxing of it. But it was just your standard unboxing. I'm sure you've saw plenty of phones unboxed. Anyway, if you don't know what I'm talking about, I got the Mi 9T Pro in, um, or Redmi K20, whatever you want to call it. Either way, I got it in, and now I'm going to be doing a full in-depth review. Firstly, they have a full screen mode. The buttons are kind of annoying to me. I don't know why, but if it's not full screen now, where there's big buttons on the sides, it's actually kind of annoying. I don't know why either. I guess it's something I just got used to whenever I use Samsung, and it just sort of stuck with me because Apple also got rid of their home button, so having a physical there hasn't been physical home buttons in a long time. It's been all under screen, but now they actually are getting rid of the under screen home buttons too, and especially on this phone there's a lot of gesture technology. So if I slide my finger on the glass this way or this way, basically what it does is it goes backwards. And if I slide it up, it's like going home, and it's something a bit new and a bit different than I've ever used before. I've used Samsung's version of it, but Samsung's version of it kept the back button and kept everything like that, which I guess isn't really technically it, because now the back button is sliding this way, like from here to here or from here to here, which kind of annoying. Kind of annoying because I can actually set commands as I want them on here, and it's entirely UI, which is cool, but I can only do that if I use the buttons, and the buttons always stay on screen. They're not like Samsung's buttons where you can get rid of them. Even if you're watching a movie, they're not physical buttons, but they're still always on screen, and it makes no sense. It's annoying. But basically, you can set up gesture technology where how you move affects it so that you don't have to have the buttons and you have more screen real estate, which gives you a really good aspect ratio, actually. Uh, I think it's 21 by 9. And it would be like, or it might be 20 by 9. It's either 20 or 21 by 9. I don't remember. But it's not bad. It's not a bad experience either. And I'm that type of dude that resists a ton of change, especially whenever it results in loss of features. I didn't want to upgrade to a new Samsung device because all of them are getting rid of the headphone jack. Well, this phone didn't, and it has a decently spec'd processor for the amount of money I was paying. I ended up paying maybe $360 for this. Again, it's not paid off in full yet. It will be as soon as I actually get my money and everything like that, but that'll be in the future. So anyway, yeah. So it's all good. It's a nice phone. It really is, and it's really special though because the pop-up camera is the one that I'm using to record right now. As you can see, if I point it at that light, it actually absorbs a lot less light than. It's got a good night mode. Let me just put it like that. I went for the Mi 9T Pro mostly because the Mi 9T's camera was trash. The front camera was absolutely awful. It was terrible. The Mi 9T Pro made a lot of upgrades on that without changing the form factor of the camera, and everything's really in good shape. So overall, if you're going to upgrade your phone, I did have some issues, which I generally do whenever you use Xiaomi products. Generally, from time to time, for the benefit of the phone, it will shut it down and reboot. I would say it's happened like once, maybe, might have been twice since I've had the phone for the last 3 weeks. But keep in mind, I've been at home because of COVID, because of the stuff like that for most of my day all day. So I've been on my phone pretty much nonstop all day. On a regular day, I'll be on my phone maybe 4 or 5 hours at most. So now it's maybe about 10 or 11 hours. If I'm on it 4 or 5 hours, even then, even whenever I'm not, at home, I may not even be on it that frequently, really. I would say probably about 2 hours a day. I would get home and I would unwind with maybe an hour to watch a live stream, and then from there, maybe 30 minutes to an hour to check emails and reply to emails that I have to reply to and stuff like that before I have to get ready for the next day. Take my shower and all that good stuff whenever I'm at my house. But with COVID-19, you don't really go out much. You don't really do much. And so I haven't been out of my house very much. School, we don't have it. It's online what we do get, and it's not much what we get. I actually need to complete some stuff for school. I'll do that in the morning. Anyway, so it's a lot of fun working with this phone. It's something different. It's a different thing than I've ever actually used before. I have used a Xiaomi phone before, but it was just your basic budget smartphone. This one is really great. It hits a perfect price point. I found it for $360. You might be able to find it for even cheaper. Or not. There's a possibility you could only find it for more expensive prices. But I live stateside, and it was a U.S. seller, so I didn't buy it from. I originally bought the phone in its Redmi K variant, which I'm glad I didn't. Now I'm glad it was declined because it did not actually support the GSM version of the American GSM version, which is annoying. But anyway, so I've sort of set everything up. One bad thing, there is no IP water resistance rating, but based on the breakdown of the phone, it's just because they couldn't be bothered with it. It has all of the rubber coatings and the stuff that protects all the other phones from water, except for the fact that it refuses, or it didn't get a rating. Probably because they just didn't want one. I would imagine that's why they did that. Anyway, so topping all of that off, there is no expandable memory, which I don't use a lot of anyway. I got maybe 128 gigs. I think it was a 64 gigs on the other one, and I really didn't use it at all. And I got 128 gigs on this phone, which is more than enough space for all the applications and stuff I use. I don't take a lot of pictures. And when I do, most of my stuff is in the cloud or online. All that's backed up. Or I put it on my, 2 terabyte hard drive that I have for my computer, which I believe I have every single photo that I took on my phone, on my old phone, backed up in 3 different files on my desktop. So all of that's backed up, and I think I'm going to start regularly as soon as we get done with the COVID-19 thing here, quarantine with my grandmother and all that. As soon as I get back to my home, my apartment, I'm going to go ahead and fix that. I'm going to back up all my photos, and I'm going to start backing them up regularly on my computer, just in case. Even though this phone seems sturdy, I dropped it like twice in that time period. Once from like 3 feet, like I would say probably from the couch to the floor whenever I was getting up. And then once whenever I stood up and it just sort of fell out of my hands. From about, I would say 5 feet maybe. I was just standing up. So, and then if you're not going to put a case on it, that might be an issue. But obviously I keep a case on mine, so it's fine. I get the blue variant, and I'll say it's actually pretty beautiful. And it goes well with this case. I know it's a red and black case, because I originally was going to go for a red and black variant, but this is all they had left, and so I decided to go with it. Anywho, so I would say overall, experience with this phone, camera's decent, it's decently priced, CPU, obvious CPU, and CPU is a Snapdragon 855, and I believe it's Adreno 640. So basically, top line specs from last year, which is when this phone was released, if I'm not mistaken. So, not bad, especially for the price point. You know, Samsung's S20 has the 865, and it's like maybe a 20, maybe even less than that. I think it's like a 17% boost in performance. But in the modern day, you're not really going to feel that. You just aren't. You're not going to feel it. Anyway, hopefully you all enjoyed. If you did, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. I'll see you all in the next video. Goodbye.